I don't have to get specific. With me, it's just works. You know, it's magic.
Donald Trump's a real character. He says whatever's on his mind, often leaves people guessing as to what he actually meant. He hardly ever apologizes. And when confronted, he sometimes even disavows his own words. And yet, Donald Trump has beat out 18 other candidates to become the Republican nominee. He scared the crap out of the Republican establishment and now has the support of at least 40% of likely voters. Many people, especially Democrats, openly wonder, how can so many people support a man they believe is bigoted, divisive, and an unhinged demagogue? So I set out to break down exactly what it is that makes DT so appealing to so many American voters. Take a look. All right, so to start with the broad strokes, Donald Trump is a brand salesman, and he's built a brand over the last several decades that's known for at least three things. One, building a lot of large, luxurious buildings and putting his name on all of them.
I will build a great, great wall on our southern border. That's a Trump wall, beautiful wall. I will build the greatest wall that you've ever seen. They ever put my name on, I want a gorgeous wall. You know? The Trump wall, oh, will that be? Nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words.
Trump takes advantage of this brand by bragging all the time and repeating the same words over and over, how he's building all these awesome buildings. Sometimes his bragging even goes a little way too far.
One of the landmark buildings down in the financial district, 40 Wall Street. Did you have any damage, or did you know what's happened down there?
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
The second is The Art of the Deal, a book that is actually ghostwritten by a guy who followed Trump around and makes Trump seem like this virtuoso expert on making deals. He's even made a movie, which he hasn't released, actually, to the public.
Renegotiate our foreign trade deals.
I have been an extremely successful deal maker. That's what I've done over years, and I know people because deals are people. And I think I'll get along very well for the good of our country, for the good of our country. This is what I want. Make America great again.
Our country needs a truly great leader, and we need a truly great leader now. We need a leader that wrote The Art of the Deal. We need a leader that can bring back our jobs, can bring back our manufacturing.
Tony Schwartz, the man who actually wrote The Art of the Deal, who says he wrote all the words in that book, talks about how he followed Trump around for a long time and really got to know how the man thinks. This is what Tony has to say about the presidential candidate to all Americans. Take a look.
But when he decided to run for president, given what I knew about him and given how rarely there is someone who does know him well, speaks up about what they know, I simply felt an obligation to do it.
And I had this inspiration, which was to ask him to let me sit in and listen on his phone calls so that I could try to piece together the deals that he was making from other people, and that was the way I got the book done. He's tough to have a personal animus toward because there's no there. There's no heart. There's no soul. There's just a man trying to transactionally do what he thinks will aggrandize him. He doesn't have a particular kind of personality that I found during the period that I worked with him that was difficult to get along with. My big quarrel with him is about his character, and I couldn't care less about his character if he wasn't running for president. Let him do what he wants to do, as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, even in business, as we know, there are a lot of people who got hurt by what he did, but for the most part, my experience with him was indifferent, personally. But as I say in the piece, I've always seen him as a black hole, as someone who cannot fill himself with a sense of value from anything that comes internally. And so he constantly, throughout his life, way before I met him and long since I met him, has tried to fill up that hole that apparently exists inside him by getting more and more money, more and more praise, more and more attention. And as he said today again, all publicity is good publicity. Now that is crazy. That is simply crazy. What kind of human being says all publicity is good publicity? If it's horrific comments about a person and about your character, that's not good publicity. That's a bad character assessment. You know, the most meaningful thing to me about Donald Trump, the scariest thing, is that his supporters, the really rabid ones, the ones who've written me these vitriolic, hate-filled letters in the last several days, don't understand that he does not care about them. He has no interest in them except so far as they vote for him. He will no more take care of him than he will the people who went through Trump University. Those are, many of them, people in the same kind of circumstances in life. They don't have any advantage, and they're looking for somebody to come along and be their savior. Donald Trump has no intention of being anyone's savior but his own. Full stop.
Tony Schwartz, author of Art of the Deal, ghostwriter of Art of the Deal, a book Donald Trump may have mentioned once or twice during the campaign. Tony, thank you very much for coming.
The third is essentially the Apprentice reality TV program. So while Trump was a reality TV star, he really started to promote his personal brand and kind of shamelessly, maybe, or boldly, would declare how rich he is and how successful he is and how great everything he does is.
One of the main reasons is he's private, and he's probably not as successful as everybody thinks. So I said to myself, you know, nobody's ever going to know unless I run. Because I'm really proud of my success. I really am. No, I have the largest bank in the world. I sell millions and millions of dollars. I mean, when I sell a condo for $25 million to a man from China, for $45 million, for $30 million, for $10 million, for $5 million. And then they had, oh, but he'll never put in his financials. Because maybe he's not as rich as people think. Not that it matters, but I'm much richer. And you'll see that next week. No, you'll see. I mean, you know, it's like...
I'm really smart. Went to the Wharton School of Finance. Even then, a long time ago, like the hardest or one of the hardest schools to get into. Did well at the school. Came out, made a fortune. Wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. Did everybody read The Art of the Deal? They say the #1 selling business book of all time, which I agree, but I'll say one of them because if I'm slightly off by 2 copies, they'll say, oh, Trump exaggerated.
So that's sort of the brand that he's built up. And as he talks about himself as the ratings machine and what ratings he gets as he goes on SNL or Fox News or anything like that, he started to apply that same thing to the polls. And you can see the results.
And, you know, I didn't know there'd be 24 million people. I figured, but I knew it was going to be a big crowd because I get big crowds. I get ratings. They call me the ratings machine.
This national poll just came out, 40.1%. That's national, 40.1%. I want the election tomorrow.
So, new polls have just come out. And we're leading in many of the battleground states. And we're leading all over the country. The LA Times has us 6 points up nationwide.
A lot of it is psychology. When a leader says something that you've been thinking all along, but no one else seems to have even acknowledged, your first reaction is to say, thank you. Finally, someone points this out. This builds an initial feeling of trust and interest that makes you want to follow them further.
They're killing us. But you don't hear that from anybody else. You don't hear it from anybody else. And I watch the speeches. Thank you. I watch the speeches of these people, and they say, the sun will rise, the moon will set, all sorts of wonderful things will happen. And people are saying, what's going on? I just want a job. Just get me a job. I don't need the rhetoric. I want.
So what would you do if you've got this awesome brand that you've built, that you are super successful?
The big banks came to me and said, Donald, you don't have enough borrowings. Could we loan you $4 billion? I said, I don't need it. I don't want it.
A billionaire and super successful. And you build all these buildings, these big buildings, and you do not lie. And you wrote The Art of the Deal.
But The Art of the Deal was like the #1 selling business book of all time. Great.
And you know things, and you got big words, and you got small words.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
You got whatever, and everybody loves you. What do you do with this brand if you want to expand and leverage it and use it to expand into, say, Trump for president?
Everyone, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have really good news for you. I just heard that the press is stuck on their airplane. They can't get here. I love it. So they're trying to get here now. They're going to be about 30 minutes late. They called us and said, could you wait? I said, absolutely not. Let's get going, right?
Well, you're going to need a few things. First, you're going to need an emotion. You're going to have to make people feel like they really need your product, which is Trump for president. And to do that, the emotion in this case is fear.
All the things that we hold dear are being attacked every single day.
Our enemies are plotting against us.
Enemies who are hell-bent on destroying us.
Your war is here.
This is an economic disaster.
Terrorists who are going to come to Western Europe and come here and kill us.
This is the last stand on Earth.
Killing us and our allies.
There is no place to escape.
The next thing is to associate this emotion of fear with your opponents.
They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting.
Our next president faces daunting challenges in a dangerous world. Iran promoting terrorism, North Korea threatening, ISIS on the rise, Libya and North Africa in chaos. Hillary Clinton failed every single time as Secretary of State. Now she wants to be president. Hillary Clinton doesn't have the fortitude, strength, or stamina to lead in our world. She failed as Secretary of State. Don't let her fail us again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Just make sure to use your existing brand as deal maker.
It goes up. I don't know, it goes up. I mean, I make good deals.
To assess what your opponents have done and just declare that they have done really bad things and they have terrible judgment. And you, of course, by contrast, are awesome.
We're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level.
We're going to win so much. Everything is just going to be awesome. Check it out.
We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't.
Just as an aside, you got to respect the brand marketer who takes away the word winning from Charlie Sheen.
Winning. 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 Duh. Winning.
Winning in what sense?
Just winning, just being happy.
Because some would
just
say
winning.
that you're defeated now.
They can say that, but what kind of car are they driving? What kind of girls are in their home? I said girls. Let's just do it. Let's meet this thing head on. And you were in it to win it. You know, good luck. You're gonna need it. I'm gonna be over here, like, winning, defeating the naysayers. You're either winning or you're losing. There's nothing in between.
How do you plan on winning that war?
With zeal and focus and violent hatred.
Finally, present yourself as the solution. Doesn't matter really about the details or specifics. Just say that when you are elected, please vote, elect me, everything will be good.
And we are going to stop the heroin, and we are going to stop all of the problems that you have, because you have them, and we're going to stop them, okay?
Nobody would be tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump. Nobody.
So is the plan you've been hiding this whole time asking someone else for their plan?
No. But when I do come up with a plan that I like and that perhaps agrees with mine or maybe doesn't.
I may love what the generals come back with. I will compete.
But you have your own plan.
I have a plan, but I don't want to, look, I have a very substantial chance of winning. Make America great again. We're going to make America great again. I have a substantial chance of winning. If I win, I don't want to broadcast to the enemy exactly what my plan is. And let me tell you, if I like maybe a combination of my plan and the general's plan or the general's plan, if I like their plan, Matt, I'm not going to call you up and say, Matt, we have a great plan. This is what Obama does. We're going to leave Iraq on a certain
But
day.
you're going to convene a panel of generals, and you've already said you know more about ISIS than those generals.
Well, there'd probably be different generals, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at the generals. Today, you probably saw, I have a piece of paper here, I could show it. 88 generals and admirals endorsed me today.
It's a numbers
and these
game.
Are great.
Hillary
Well, it's
claims
not
more
really.
numbers.
It's not, yeah, numbers. People that have been losing for us for a long period of time. I mean, the fact is, we have had the worst, and you could even say the dumbest,
foreign policy, our results are so bad, we would have been better off had we never, ever spent $2 in that part of the world.
The big question with Donald Trump is, how are you going to do it, man?
I don't have to get specific. With me, it's just works. You know, it's magic. During the speech, I said 20%.
How do we get them? How would Donald Trump as president get these people back to work?
You have to take the jobs back from China. You have to take the jobs back from Mexico.
Mexico. In Iowa, companies are leaving from Mexico. You have to take, they're given incentive to leave our country and go to places like Mexico. And by the way, Mexico is the next China.
Mexico, folks, is not our friend. I hate to tell you this, but Mexico, and I'm not just talking about the border, Mexico is ripping off the United States big, big league, and we better do something. But jobs going to China, to Mexico, to Brazil, they're going everywhere but here. And we've lost our manufacturing, and we've lost our manufacturing base.
What would specifically you do?
To A, stop Iran's nuclear program, and B, to defeat ISIS? Because I don't hear you saying degrade them. I hear you saying defeat them.
Defeat. Well, with ISIS, I just hit them really hard. And that would probably, and you know, a year ago you wouldn't have said it and nobody would have liked it. Now everybody likes it. You may have to have some boots on the ground for a period of time until you get rid of the cancer. That's number one. You may have to have that. Look.
They're cutting off the heads of people. They're burning people at the stake. It's like we're living in medieval times. With Iran, sanctions all over the place. Believe me, you can make a right deal. If you have the right negotiator. You know, part of the problem we have, Sean, we have people that are diplomats doing our negotiating. They know nothing about negotiating. All they know how to do is keep their job. They know nothing about negotiating. If we had the right people, we could solve the ISIS problem and we could solve the Iran problem, and a lot more quickly than you think.
So what we've got here, and Donald Trump, presidential candidate, is a brand salesman, a very experienced brand salesman who leverages the brand that he's already built and tries to parlay it into this image of Trump as president. He taps into the raw emotion that has been built up throughout the years by conservative outlets like Fox News and Rush Limbaugh, and telling you that you should be afraid, that they're coming to destroy our way of life and take our jobs. And he taps into all that and tells you that his opponents are causing all these problems, and if you elect him as president, he's going to fix it all. And when asked how he's going to do it, he's a little bit short on details, but the feeling is there, and you really feel like he's speaking to the issues that no one else is raising. So that is Donald Trump in a nutshell, and that's a bit of an overview for why people really feel like he's going to change everything and he's going to fix it all. Thank you.
Look, nobody's more conservative than me on energy independence. Okay, I've been talking about it for years. Nobody's more conservative than me on the military. Nobody's more conservative than me on taking care of our great veterans who are being absolutely maligned. Nobody's more conservative than me on health care, where we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, and on Common Core, where we're getting rid of it, and on budgets, where whether it's the penny deal, there's so many different things, but we'll straighten out our budgets.
There is nobody more pro-Israel than I am.
Mr. Trump.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody. Nobody has more respect.
Please, everybody.
And
I've been on the circuit making speeches, and I hear my fellow Republicans, and they're wonderful people. I like them. They all want me to support them. I think I'll win the Hispanic vote. I have a great relationship. I have so many great relationships with Muslim people.
I have a great relationship with the blacks.
I think my relationship with women has been really good. I would have a great relationship with Putin. I have great relationship with God. Everybody loves me. Mitt is a failed candidate. He failed. He failed horribly. The third, he failed badly. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
I'll tell you. You are a loser. You really are a loser. Now get him out.
There are two kinds of people. Which one will you be? A loser like them? Would you like to finish? Or a winner?
Like me.
Donald Trump, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll be right back with music from Gary Clark Jr.